What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so I know some guys wondering, like, what happened to your theme music, man? What happened to the music? It's coming back. It's coming back. It's just for the next couple of days, I'm gonna be using a different device to record. So by this weekend, I should be back on my original device. I'm just using a different device right now. So I want to talk about this situation with Oscar Robertson and Draymond Green. Okay, so if you don't know what I'm talking about, Draymond Green recently, during the presser or during a presser for the All Star Weekend festivities, Draymond referred to the current NBA product as boring and said that the only time that he really gets up for a game is when he goes against LeBron James. So other than that, the games are boring. Then he referenced something that Kobe said a couple of years ago before his untimely and tragic passing. He said something about how today's basketball is almost accidental basketball, and instead of purposeful basketball. And I remember when he said that. And then Oscar Robertson basically said, when asked about Draymond's comments, just said that, what does Draymond know about basketball other than the fact that he's mostly just passing to Steph. All he does is pass to Steph, and then they reference triple single, and I think he did too. And he said, at the end of the day, why is Draymond Green considered a spokesman for the game? And he just pretty much poo-pooed what Draymond said, right? Went in on him. And these are my thoughts, okay? I think most of us agree with Draymond Green, honestly, about the way the game is being played right now. It's at a low point. They rely way too much on three-pointers. It's become too much of a staple of the game. I think teams are taking, what was the last time? Last time I looked at this stat, 37, 38 three-point attempts a night per team. So that means combined on a daily basis, about 75 three-point attempts are being launched between two teams on any given particular game. And then if it's like if the Celtics are going up against like the Warriors, forget about it. I mean, you're talking about then maybe 90 three-point attempts, 90, 95 three-point attempts in one game. Like, enough is enough. I thought that the best balance was really the early 2000s. Even as recently as the Heatles, the league average was around 22, 23. Uh, that's okay. That's about pushing the norm. It's become too ubiquitous, and it's monotonous because everybody plays the same way. So in theory, I agree with Draymond Green. The problem is, and I think this is what irritates Oscar Robertson, is as an NBA player, see, we can say these things. We're fans. Okay? We're fans. But I think as an NBA player, you really shouldn't be talking like that. Like critiques, yeah. But if I'm the commissioner, if I'm the Golden State Warriors, well, not even just the Golden State Warriors owners, but just anybody affiliated with the league, I cringe when I hear Draymond say it because he's a guy that has aspirations to be in the media or the alum media. And probably will be. This is a guy that's going to be a fake NBA Hall of Famer. For him to call the game boring and to say only when LeBron plays is the game interesting, you don't want to hear somebody like him say that, who for some reason has all this media clout. You know what I'm saying? This is a guy that is transitioning. When he retires, he's going to transition to be part of the media. It's almost certain he's going to be in the media. So for him to say that, a player, a four-time NBA champion, it's a bad look. Also, his comments are too they're too vague. Like it'd be one thing if he said something like the way that some of these teams are playing now with the 3-point shot is kind of boring. If he was specific like that, that'd be one thing. But to say the NBA game is just boring unless I'm playing against LeBron, then you're shitting on the product as a whole. Then you're just crapping all over the product, you know. So that's definitely part of why I think guys like Oscar Robertson, and I think many of the other old heads look at Draymond a certain way, and also look when players like that, guys like Oscar Robertson, who man, I would say the most he made in the season was maybe 100,000. Maybe toward the end of his career, 120,000, 150,000, maybe. I'm just guessing. I haven't seen the figures in a while, but it was low end six figures. This is a guy, Oscar Robertson, that for many, many, many years was playing with the Cincinnati Royals when his teams just could not compete with the Boston Celtics. His teams could not compete with, the Philadelphia Warriors, or really, I would say the Los Angeles Lakers when Wilt got there, or any team like that. The San Francisco Warriors. He couldn't compete with those teams because I'm not saying he didn't have some good teammates. He had good teammates. Jerry Lucas, Jack Twyman. Uh, you know, I think later in his career, Sam Lacey. He had some good teammates. But the problem is he just didn't have a squad that was sufficient to win a championship. And part of that is because they didn't have free agency. The main reason is because they didn't have free agency like the way they have today. Teams pretty much had your rights for your entire career. Oscar Robertson sued the NBA. I've mentioned that before. Oscar Robertson sued the NBA so that players could have that right to be able to choose their destiny, which is why I get so aggravated at fans today who talk about, oh, well, this guy didn't win a title in the 60s and 70s. Oh, he only got one title. He only got two titles. But he didn't have the freedom of free agency. How many championships do you think Kevin Durant had if he couldn't choose to go to the Warriors? How many championships do you think Jimmy Butler could have? Well, first of all, how many championship opportunities do you think Jimmy Butler could have if he didn't have the right of free agency? Do you think LeBron James is the one to be a four-time NBA champion if he was stuck in Cleveland most of his career? So we got to look at these things before we make all these declarations about titles and rings. We got to look at things that they apply to certain eras and all eras. That's my gripe on that. Stop comparing championship rings. Oh, Russell got 11 and Russell got 11 and Wilt got 2. Well, I tell you what. Let's say uh, Kyrie. Excuse me. Let's say Steph was with the Warriors his entire career, as he's been. But let's say LeBron was stuck in Cleveland. And they weren't getting all these big name free agents over there. You know what I'm saying? Like the only guy he got was Kyrie. How many championships do you think LeBron has? Maybe that one. Maybe that one. And then if those Cavalier teams weren't as stacked as they became, maybe Steph has more rings. Maybe Steph has 6. So then we're saying 6 versus 1. But does that mean that Steph is a better player? If some people eyes, if they ring count, maybe. But most people look at body of work. But anyway, I'm getting a little bit off the point here. At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? A guy like Oscar Robertson, he look at that, he look at the amount of money these guys make today, 50, 60, 70 million dollars a year, just about coming up. You don't want to hear these guys complaining, man. Especially a guy like Draymond Green, who would pretty much be nothing if he was playing back in them days, man. You got Mr. Real True Mr. Triple Double versus Triple Single. Come on, man. Let's be real here. Let's be real here. And this is just another example of how just generational players are going to be the first generation of players who are potentially going to leave the game in worse hands than when they found it, or not found it, when which they took over. It'll be the first time. Every other generation, for the most part, when they became the face of the league, they took over from a league that had been enriched and had been elevated by the prior generation. And when they took over, when they left, and the future generation hands, it was further pushed into greatness, further more greatness, if that's a phrase you want to use. This might be the first time where the game has gone downhill. And when you keep crapping on the product like they are, and when you got guys cheating the game the way they are today, don't be surprised if the NBA and the next collective bargaining agreement is going to come out on the players' end. And I'm going to tell you something. If the NBA ever goes to non-guaranteed contracts, I hate to say it, but watch how the level play watch how these guys play differently. Watch how all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying, these guys are giving all their effort. But anyway, that's just my take on it. Tell me what you guys think.